Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about your mindset while you're trading. The thoughts that are going through your mind, which most of us are pretty much unaware of. This is, in my experience, my name, by the way, is Andrea Wylan. I'm a trader success coach, and my links and more about me is down below. This is, I believe, the most important part of trading, the most important factor, aside from learning the technicals of how to trade, the most important factor in your mindset for how successful you're going to be is the way that you talk to yourself in your head. So I work with every single client that I work with. Becomes part of the conversation at some point. How am I talking to myself? What am I saying? And like I said, most of us are pretty much unaware of that. If you have some type of a meditation practice that you do where you're focusing on your breathing or a mantra or something else, then you have experience in training the mind and bringing some awareness and some attention to what's happening inside your mind. Most of us have no idea. It's just happening. We have the 60,000 thoughts a day or whatever it is. Most of them are the same thoughts every day. And we don't have any control or discipline or conscious way to change what's happening in our brain, right? And it just takes over and affects us. So let's look at an example of how that might work when you're trading. Let's say that you take a trade. Let's say you take a couple of trades and you lose both of them. So perhaps you've got a little bit of frustration or fear going. And then you take another trade and it's a loss, or you let it go beyond your stop, or something, bad happens and you start having feelings about that. So let's look at what you might say to yourself. So in situation A, maybe you say, "Oh my God, I'm never going to get this. I'm a loser. I've been doing this now for 5 years or 10 or 20 years, and I'm still not making money. I can't follow my plan." And it catapults downwards and downwards. And you may be able to relate to saying some of these things to yourself, or you may not be able to, but just the whole tone of, this isn't working. I can't do this. I suck at this. I'm never going to get there. These are subconscious choices. They don't feel like they're choices. They feel like they're automatic, right? Of what you're saying to yourself in this negative situation. Negative self-talk, right? You're kind of beating yourself up. And if you had a friend sitting next to you and he or she was trading and they weren't being successful, would you say that stuff to them? No, no. They wouldn't be your friend anymore if you did, right? So now let's look at situation B. The same thing happens. You have the same amount of losses, and you pull back and you say to yourself, "Oh, I just had 3 losses in a row. And in fact, with the third loss, I let it go past my stop. I wonder what's going on here. Perhaps there's something with me that's going on where I shouldn't be trading today, or maybe my strategy isn't working, or maybe I've just had a bad luck streak. I think for today I'll put it aside and I'll come back tomorrow." But I'm proud of myself for getting up on time and doing my morning routine and whatever else you might be proud of yourself for. And I pretty much followed my plan, and I feel good about that. I'm not happy with the losses, and later this afternoon after I go to the gym, I'm going to take a look and see if I can see what happened. See how objective that is? See how it's positive, even though, a negative situation happened? So trader number 1 in the first situation is going to catapult downward and downward and downward. And as he or she talks to himself or herself with that negative, harsh, judgmental tone, you start to feel bad. It's like having a friend or a spouse or a parent or someone else say nasty, negative things to you. It feels bad. And when you feel bad, it leads to taking actions more of desperation or out of fear or out of trying to feel better. It's not a grounded place from which to trade, right? In situation B, where you are neutral or you're positive and you're finding a different way to look at it, and it's going to be a much more positive situation. You're going to feel much better about yourself. Even if you had a really, really bad day and you broke all your rules, the ability to say, wow, to just kind of like have a distance, have a detachment, and to be able to see what happened and to be able to say to yourself, wow, that was a bad day of trading. I really didn't follow my rules. I'm not feeling well. I wonder what I did. I wonder why this is happening to me, or why I'm choosing to do this. It's not happening to you. You're doing it, right? And being able to detach from what happened enough to look at it, to investigate, to question yourself, maybe to talk to a friend about it. Now you're doing something constructive. You're being loving and positive to yourself, even though you may have had a disastrous day. See the difference? So this can feel really subtle, and some traders will naturally talk nicely to yourself and others will naturally be critical. It's the way that you have a conversation in your mind 24/7 about everything. We tend to be, either critical or kind all the time. It's what we grew up with and what we learned, I think, for the most part. Some of it may be what we're born with, I'm not sure. But it's the ongoing natural dialogue that we have with ourselves. So what I would recommend for you is to start trying to become aware of the conversation that you're having in your head while you're trading, maybe even while you're just driving down the street. Am I being nice to myself? Am I being mean to myself? Am I being neutral? And if you can translate that into being kind to myself is really going to have a difference in my trading results. If you can get that, it will have a huge impact, and it will be an impetus to start to be kind to yourself. So I actually will have traders record when you're recording your trade and how, what happened in the trade and if you followed your plan. My last video, I talked about following a plan, and that one of the things I think is most important about recording your trades is actually writing down, yes, I followed my plan, or no, I didn't. Not just did I make money. Following the plan is much more important. So when you're recording the trades, or even while you're taking them and you're jotting notes down for yourself, how am I feeling? I'm feeling really scared right now, or I'm feeling calm, or I'm unsure, or I'm frustrated. What's the feeling? But also, if you can become aware of it, what's the thought that you're having? Is there, and this can go back and forth very quickly, I know, because when traders write down what's going on, in one moment it can be, oh, I've got this, finally, I'm going to be successful, oh, I'm going to make $1 million, and then a minute later, oh my God, I just lost it all, I'll never get this. And, watch your thoughts. Are they on a roller coaster? Are they going way up and way down? Or are they more calm? Are they positive? Or are they negative? And see if you can't write them down. Jot them down. And I know this may seem, like a far distance from looking at charts and strategies and actually taking trades, but it's not. It's core. Absolutely core and central to your success. The way that we talk to ourselves is in the subconscious. So, I think in general, not all the time, but in general, if you're brought up in a loving household and there's a lot of positive dialogue and reinforcement going on, you're probably a lot more likely to be nice to yourself and continue that dialogue with yourself as an adult. If you grow up in a family that's less kind and there's more abuse or negative talk or criticism, and that's the case for a lot of us, the tendency can be to be much more critical with yourself and it's hard to even have an awareness of that. So when I'm suggesting to write it down, it's to help you to gain an awareness. The other thing that you can do that is very effective is to pull out a little digital recorder and talk. While you're trading, talk to yourself. Just a stream of consciousness. Okay, the chart, listen, this is an example. The trade is setting up, my chart is, such and such is getting to the level that I'm looking for, and I'm getting into the trade, oh, I didn't get in yet. I'm going to have to chase it now. I'm getting frustrated. I should have gotten my fill at 50 and I'm getting filled at 51 or whatever. This isn't going to work. Oh, now it's going in my favor. Oh, this is great. I feel good. Whatever that stream of consciousness is, say it out into a recorder and then play it back and listen to yourself if you want. Then you don't have to write and you don't have to think, but it's bringing it up. Just by saying it out loud is bringing it up, and it's bringing it into your awareness and your consciousness, right? So step one is notice is coming to a place of realizing how important this is. And I'm saying that to you, but you may have to figure that out for yourself. Step two is starting to get a really clear awareness of the way that you're talking to yourself. Andrea said this, but what am I actually doing? Am I negative? Am I positive? Am I somewhere in the middle? Most of us are negative. We're critical with ourselves. So that's step two, starting to have an awareness. And then the more you have an awareness, the kinder you'll be to yourself just automatically. But step three is to start to have, as I said before, a detachment from the actions that happen and the conversation in your head. So when you have a bad day or you make a stupid mistake or have a bad trade, that maybe you notice yourself being critical with yourself, and then you say, oh, I'm being critical with myself. I wonder if there's another way to have this conversation. Oh, I had a bad day. I got in a fight with my spouse this morning, and so that may be why. I'm going to put in my trading plan, I don't want to trade on the days that I have a fight with my spouse. Okay, that's a great learning. So even though I lost $200 or $500 or whatever, I got a good learning out of it. So you're consciously changing the conversation with yourself, and it's becoming more and more like you would talk to other people, to friends or partners, right? If you had a spouse that talked to you the way you probably talk to yourself, came in the office in the morning and said, you're a loser, you suck, you'll never get this, see you later for dinner, have a great day, you'd probably divorce them, right? And yet this is how we talk to ourselves quite frequently. And I've been working with traders for several years, and in my opinion, this is the most important thing that needs to change in our mindset to put us on stable footing and make us feel safe enough with ourselves inside of our head to be able to trade. If you go into the market in the morning and you're beating the crap out of yourself emotionally, you're not in a good place to have good self-esteem and be able to follow your plan. You're beaten up and you're bruised, and that's an awful place to start your trading day. So see if you can start to garner an awareness of this, and see if you can start to make small changes in the direction of really loving yourself and being kind to yourself, and having that translate into the way that you're talking to yourself. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. If you would like to talk with me directly about your own trading, reach out and contact me, and we can set up a consultation, and I'm happy to have that conversation with you guys. Thanks for listening. See you next time.